Hey, this is Eric Redbeard, and you're listening to Count It Out.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and I am joined with the man that you can see this week, although I'm sure he wishes that his eyes did not see some of it. The one and only Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Tyler Wolf sucks. Tyler Wolf sucks.
Listen, if I wanted to be spoken to this way, I would have just stayed at home this week.
I'm all right, man. Yeah, let's peel it back right away. If you clicked on the link, you probably already know that we're counting down the top 7 John Cena WrestleMania matches of all time. I mean, it just made sense. John's very last WrestleMania is coming up in 2 weeks, so it only made sense to pay homage to Cena and everything he's done. And listen, I hope to do this again by the end of the year. I hope to talk about John a lot in the next several months until December. I regret talking about him today. John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. I'll never take that away from him. He has had some of my favorite matches. He's had some amazing matches. But Tyler, Mr. WrestleMania, John Cena is not.
No, Mr. SummerSlam, you can make a case for, though.
We don't talk about Mr. SummerSlam on this show. But Cena, I don't think until I sat down and broke it down and watched and rewatched all his matches, I don't think I realized how many stinkers the guy really has at WrestleMania. Now, this is all subjective, I suppose, because if friend of the show Adam Colton was on the show, and his name's going to come up a couple times today, so watch out for that. When talking to Adam's look at it was, you know what? Well, a lot of my John Cena memories are fond. He goes, because WrestleMania is about spectacle. It's about crowd reaction. It's about this, about that. And John Cena gets it all. I get that. I get your point, Adam. But at the same time, a shitty match is a shitty match is a shitty match. For every amazing WrestleMania moment and match you have, you have Nikki Bella and John Cena taking on the Miz and Maurice.
Yeah, it was a fun little match, but I wouldn't say it's an all-time classic for sure. I will say that if your list was top 7 John Cena WrestleMania entrances, that it could be a lot different because he's had some pretty cool entrances.
And that's something. Let's shoot at it now. Then I was going to bring this up later, but let's do it now. I was going to ask you while rewatching these matches, a lot of these entrances just made me smile and made me remember how great some of his entrances were. In your opinion, are we talking John Cena in the same conversation of the likes as Triple H and The Undertaker when it comes to WrestleMania big time entrances?
Unpopular opinion. I'm not a big fan of a lot of Triple H's WrestleMania entrances. I do like his Terminator one though. I
love his Terminator one.
That one was really good, but I mean, I was never down like with the whole Conan the Barbarian theme thing he was doing there for a few years.
Okay.
I just never.
I can appreciate it. I don't agree with you, but I can appreciate.
No, I mean that's why I started with unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I mean Undertaker's entrance. It doesn't matter if it's at WrestleMania or at a house show. It's always awesome.
Right.
I think Cena's got some of the more creative WrestleMania entrances.
See, but
for sure.
out of all of them, the ones that I really put up there, 25 is one of my favorite entrances of all time. Doesn't matter who you are.
With all the like the Eminem John Cena's.
Exactly, but also I love the with the real John Cena, please stand up kind of vibe. I love that, but at the same time, I'm a huge fan of the Thugonomics theme song. So when they opened with that for the clones to come out, that just did it for me right there. That's definitely my favorite. The one where he drove the Mustang. Drove the Mustang. through the glass. Love that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Cena drove it through the glass. He's a big car guy.
Um, Maybe through the glass. He definitely didn't do the
No,
driving
this
in the
no,
street.
no, definitely not.
And then I don't know. I think it's just because I know he was maybe just waiting for his music to hit that spot, but it's a little coincidental that he waited that long. I feel like he was switching places with the stunt driver before he got out. But you very well could be right. There was another one. Now I forget. There was another one that I really loved, and I can't remember what it was. But it's my turn for an unpopular opinion. You know which one I don't like?
Which one?
I hope I get the year right. I think it's 23, 23, 22, 22. The one with CM Punk
Yeah, the gangster
as the
one.
gangster.
I
I
mean,
find that so cheesy.
well, that
The Him wearing the trench coat but still wearing his jorts. He just looks like a flasher. He looks like he's naked under that thing.
we don't know.
So
We don't know what
that
people could and couldn't see back then.
that lost it for me. And then he pulls out the gun. I'm like, okay. I thought he was going to do a real like shot, like shoot around kind of thing. He one shot off, didn't do it for me.
That one was, yeah, it could have been a lot better for sure. That was just to pay more of a homage to like Chicago's
Sure, I get that.
tight mafia, the
Uh,
prohibition stuff and all
and of
that.
course, we saw the WrestleMania debut of CM Punk that night.
We did.
Closest he's gotten to a main event until now. So
Fair. Fair. He may have earned this main event better than he did this year's as well. He may have earned that spot better. But you know what? Let's talk about that. What are your views on the way that CM Punk has been given his main event spot?
I don't have a whole lot to talk about it more than we talked last week. I like nothing really has transpired since last week, so I don't have a whole lot more to add to how I feel. Um, I'm glad he's getting his main event. I just wish they did more to explain why are these guys in the main event? Why these
How
guys?
how are we feeling about the favor?
Bit of a cop out for me. I think the favor could have been better, but at the same time, wasn't it not the favor?
No, the favor has been revealed now. It is Paul Heyman managing CM Punk.
Yeah. Paul Heyman is in his corner. Um, I'm okay with it, I guess. It's long term storytelling at the very least. I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see how it plays out at WrestleMania.
I
If it doesn't add anything to WrestleMania, then I think it was a waste. If it does, if it turns into God knows what he's going to do. Is he going to turn on Spunk? Is he going to turn on Roman? Who knows what he's going to do? If Paul plays an important role at WrestleMania, then we'll talk.
I feel like the favor is a bit of a letdown as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
I feel like for like a favor, like it should be something massive. Like the way they've hyped it up.
But also has to be realistic. So it has to be something in Paul Heyman's power.
What's not in Paul Heyman's power?
Paul,
He's the
what the
best.
yeah, but what Paul Heyman is nobody right now. He's the advocate for the tribal chief. Other
He's
than that,
got hookups.
he's nobody.
He's got hookups. You don't think Paul Heyman's got favors owed to him by everybody? As a
Not
weasel.
not by Triple H.
Well, he doesn't have to be Triple H. It's got to be Adam Pierce or
True
Nick
enough.
Aldis, right?
True enough.
Come on,
Yeah.
he can grease those guys, no problem. I just thought that it didn't have to be like this. This could be something that Punk just asked Heyman. Hey, I want you in my corner, and then Heyman can be conflicted that way. I think the favor could have been something. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not crazy
Yeah.
about it. I don't hate it.
Uh,
I mean, it's gonna make for good TV.
I think, and to your point last week, I think it doesn't do any more favors to Seth Rollins already feeling looking like an
Well, that's
outcast.
that's what I wanted to ask you. I sent you a text message last night, and I said, "Is Seth Rollins the most underappreciated talent in WWE?"
And I don't
From
have
from the
that
way that
an
the
answer because
fans from the way the fans look at him.
and my answer to you is all the wrestlers are underappreciated by the fans because fans suck these days. Anybody who the company tries to get over, the fans are going to fucking end up booing. The fans want to make all their stars. You know what I mean? If you're not Daniel Bryan, if it wasn't your idea to cheer him, then they don't want to cheer you. I hate
Yeah.
fans today.
You know what,
So
wrestling fans? I was a Daniel Bryan fan while he was still in Ring of Honor, okay?
um is Seth unappreciated? I don't know. I
Now, when I say underappreciated, let me kind of give some like backdrop to it.
mhm,
I just feel like Seth for the WWE, he's like their Sting. That's how I'm gonna put it. He's a company guy. He's never left. He's never talked about leaving. He sticks up for the company. He's talked shit and been in argument with AEW guys. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then every time a new shiny toy comes, it's just like, fuck you, Seth. And like, take it all the way back to when Cody came back, let's say. Seth was Cody's first opponent.
To play
Seth was
devil's
his
advocate, it's not like he didn't have his time in the sun. I mean, he was the first the member of the Shield that they really put up on a pedestal, and
yeah.
you know,
I'm just saying, like, I just feel bad for him. It's like, okay, like Seth, like the fans should want to choose Seth more. I guess what I'm saying is it gives him great reason to turn heel. Hey, what the fuck, guys? I
at the
was
end of the
here.
day,
I was here. I think it'd be a great heel turn. I was here. Cody came back. He left us. You
mhm,
chose Cody over me, which is what happened.
which is exactly what happened.
I
And
made
then
I
Punk,
made I made do with it. I became friends with Cody because that's what's best for the company. And then Punk came back. And then what happened? Or no, sorry. And then Cody chose Roman over
yeah,
me, right? I helped Cody win his belt. And then Punk came back and you chose Punk over me. And now you're choosing Roman over me. And you've chosen The Rock over me. Like every year it just feels like Seth kind of gets like
yeah.
even this year in
I
The WrestleMania main event, everybody's talking about Punk and Roman. And
yeah,
Seth
yeah,
is
I know.
just exactly where he
I
was
truly
last
wish
year.
there was some way. It's too late now, but I wish there was some way to get Rollins out of this match, especially now that Randy needs an opponent.
I just
Now that Randy has nothing to do, Seth and Randy, you 2 weeks is enough build to get them something going. It really is.
like 30 seconds is enough build for them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I really, and it's too bad. I want to talk about this in a minute with the Kevin Owens situation, but
Hmm.
I really think that Seth and Kevin Owens as a tag team over the last 6, 7 months could have really done some magical television
Yeah.
because they're both heels that are right. They're both heels that are right.
What do you feel about this? It's not going to happen. I just want to know your thoughts on this idea. Now that Randy needs something to do, what if Randy came out next week when the three guys were doing their bitching and whining and whatever, and he said, "You know what, CM Punk, you're not the only one who was owed a favor. Triple H owed me something, and now I'm in this match."
Um, I don't think
Put
so.
put, put Randy in the put Randy in a fatal four way.
I don't like it just because I just think there's so much story that's already been told him with the three guys. It just kind of feels,
But he's got ties with all three guys, which is what I like.
yeah, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
I get it, but I think it would hurt. I think Randy and Nick Aldis is kind of the way they should go.
What I would have liked is putting him in that and making it a number one contendership match.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like I mentioned last week, I hate the fact that there's no stakes to this match.
Everyone, and
I hate that.
well, we don't know if they're going to add anything, right? But I
There's
agree
two
with
weeks
you.
left. I don't think they will.
Everyone keeps saying Nick Aldis for Randy Orton, and I don't hate the idea. However, there is one glaring problem with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in the WWE world knows that Nick Aldis is an amazing wrestler.
That's it.
So why should anybody think that this would be a good match? I know it'd be a great match because I've seen Nick Aldis wrestle for years and he's phenomenal.
He is. Isn't
But
it insane though that the
uh,
two general managers on WWE are both former NWA champions?
yeah,
Both like, because I'm going to give a little bit of flowers to Adam Pierce here too.
phenomenal worker.
He's no Nick Aldis, but he's a great worker. He's a great performer. So it's just funny to me that these two guys are former NWA champions, two great wrestlers, and the majority of casual fans have no idea.
How do you make WWE fans think that Nick Aldis can hang with Randy Orton in 2 weeks? Is it possible?
Unless they decide to shove a whole lot of TNA footage down our throats in 2 weeks. No.
They're gonna have to, right? Magnus,
Yeah.
former TNA world champion.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what. Well, again, and you know what though, WWE's got a working relationship with the NWA now too. They got Natty going there, so I'm sure we can get footage from that.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know how you can get fans to believe that. And you know what? Like even me as a wrestling fan who knows Nick Aldis, like Randy Orton's
Mm-hmm.
just on another level.
Well, yeah, and don't I'm not taking anything away from Nick. I'm a big fan of Nick Aldis. I
Me
really
too.
am.
Yeah.
Um, but he's not Randy Orton.
What about
I mean,
What about
it's not
Sami Zayn? Is there a way Sami Zayn can make sense to face Randy Orton?
no. And you and I tried discussing this off air. I don't like your idea of him just being like, um, yeah, at the end of the day, Kevin's still my friend. What a cop out.
Yeah.
I don't like,
No, I
especially
agree.
everything that just happened, everything they just went through, all the things he just literally finished saying. This time, there's no
Yeah,
forgiving and
and
no
I
forgetting.
agree.
To go back on that 2 weeks later, it just doesn't make sense. Not to mention, I believe he's off TV for a reason. I believe he requested time off for religious and family reasons. I think there's no. I think he's just out.
A lot of people keep mentioning the names.
Unfortunately,
Miro, and Aleister Black.
right. And Aleister Black debuting like even if Randy came out and did some sort of open challenge or something, and one of those two guys came out, I'd be okay.
See, I would not
Okay,
because the reason why is I think it's pretty apparent that Randy Orton is going on to challenge for the world title at Backlash in St. Louis.
sure, yeah.
What a terrible way to bring people back to have them just lose at WrestleMania to Randy Orton.
And you don't want Randy losing
And Randy
ever.
can't. Randy cannot lose. He
No,
can if they are going to put him against John Cena.
he could have
No,
lost to Kevin.
no, you
I think he
can't.
could have lost to Kevin,
But
depending on how
how do you justifiably put him as Cena's first challenger if Cena wins the belt?
it happens. But it happens all the time.
Yeah, but it's stupid.
But it happens all the time.
Not lately. They've been pretty good with title shots lately. But I just I don't know where you go with Randy Orton. It's funny, Randy just last week on the show we said Randy's in one of the best builds for WrestleMania this year, and now he's the
Mm-hmm.
odd man out.
Yeah,
And
it's
now,
unfortunate.
the Sami Zayn was the odd man out for the whole build, and now it's Randy, and it's interesting to see where they're going to pivot. Now, just the WWE, they could do anything. They could maybe bring up a guy from NXT. They could like there's a lot of options they could do.
Before we move on, because you just said this is one of the best builds. In a few seconds, I want to talk about one of the worst builds.
Hmm.
But before we get there, I want to finish talking about Randy and Kevin for a minute. I want to talk about the way Kevin's announcement was made. Um, I think you and I have conflicting interests here. You have a bit of a problem with the way that Kevin came out and said his piece.
Yeah, I mean, from a it just depends on it just didn't fit what he's been doing lately. Now I get it. This is a
I think there,
real
I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I mean now it's turning out that this injury could be very, very serious and possibly
I,
career ending, right?
I think he's afraid that this might be it for him. And I think he didn't want to end it in a storyline mode. He wanted to come out and say his feelings, and if that's it, that's it.
But we don't.
I think this is personal for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he
Yeah.
came right out and said how upset he was that the news
Mm,
got leaked and whatever. But let me just play devil's advocate.
sure.
Um, we don't know. No, nobody knows
No,
anything yet
no.
about it. Why couldn't he have that moment later if it was like when we know more? Like it didn't have to be.
It's
But
hard. It's really
but
hard to put ourselves in someone's shoes when
well,
they're,
yeah, and if that's
you
what he
know,
needed for his sanity,
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
I don't hate the fact that that's what they did. It just was weird. Like it was just really like out of left field.
Yeah.
Especially for like the intensity Kevin and Randy have had and I don't know. Like they could have.
Like, I'm glad they didn't like hug or shake hands or anything like that. I'm glad they didn't do that. Um, it was enough that Randy he looked right at him and said, "Go get yourself good." That was enough.
Yeah.
He showed Kevin just enough respect. They didn't need to be doing the whole love you brother stuff because now Kevin can come back and they can get right back into this
Yeah,
in a
100%.
year, in 2 years, God knows how long it might take.
This is
But
like
but
from a business standpoint, this is a
yeah,
huge loss for the WWE, by the way.
big time.
This one will be felt.
Not just for WrestleMania, for the company.
100%. Kevin Owens
Yeah.
is one of your most and has been one of your most consistent and steady performers of all time in your company.
He's also the greatest heel that was in your company.
Yeah, you're
And
losing a huge heel.
yeah. So it's very unfortunate for everybody involved. Here at Counted Out, we do just wish Kevin nothing but a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. We've
It's
been
you never want to see this for anybody, but it hits a little harder when it's somebody that you really, really, really respect and appreciate, like Kevin Owens. You and I
100%.
have both been Kevin Owens fans for a very long time, going back to his ROH days.
I saw him versus Nigel McGuinness at the Ted Reeves Arena, Ring of Honor's first show ever in Toronto. Like,
As Canadians, as somebody myself who has been all over the Montreal scene and has been in, not only been in places where he's wrestled, but I've I've bumped in the ring that he trained in with Jacques Rougeau. You know, it's I feel like this hits a little bit more close to home here because he does feel like a hometown boy. He does feel like one of those Canadians that is really Canadian. He's
well,
just, you know,
and if it was
he's
his last match too, like what a way to go out against your best friend in your home country,
exactly.
in front
And
of a
I mentioned
large
this to you
crowd.
off air, but how insane if he was that hurt, how insane that two of his last matches were Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
The things he did in those matches, my God, to be
Yeah.
in that kind of pain doing that stuff, like
100%.
that's on the level of Royal Rumble or WrestleMania 14 with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Think of the pain Shawn was in at WrestleMania 14, and he went and did that stuff. That's on that level right there.
It's
Except Shawn wasn't doing some of the crazy bumps that Kevin did.
Well, it's such a crazy thing to think about too. Like if Shawn Michaels were in that role now, like he would never be allowed to fight. But
Right.
back in that time period, the Taker's taping his fists up, saying, "You better go out there and fight, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." Like
Yeah.
that's just such funny how like the world has evolved since that
Very
time
different.
period. Tiff Stratton, you want to talk about that?
Very, very briefly. Um, it's funny. Once again, I told you that this name was going to come up again, and here it is. I think if Adam Contant was here, he would have very different views on this subject than you and I do. But I think it's fair to say that the people here and present at the moment, neither of us are very big fans of what we saw this week
No,
between Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton.
was not a
I
fan.
think I think it was messy. I think it was sloppy. I think it was unnecessary. It didn't look good on anybody. This whole shoot thing was it was a hit. It was a shoot and a miss.
Well, and apparently this is the second time that Charlotte has decided to kind of go on her own path, if you will. And, she ate up Tiffany the first time and made Tiffany look bad.
Yeah,
And this
and
time,
this was
Tiffany,
Tiffy's. Yeah,
she had her receipts, which made herself look just as bad. Like they were
yeah.
terrible receipts. I'm gonna put a lot of the blame on Charlotte here for
Me too.
sure.
Oh
She's the
wait, really?
she's the veteran. What are you trying to
Oh,
accomplish by doing this? How is this?
no. And but here, well, okay. Well, for the first time, whenever she did it, fine. Yes, I agree with you there. But for this particular segment, I don't think she needed to come back with that stupid Kaiser line.
No,
But
but that was terrible. That
but the
was
damage was already done to the segment.
now
You can't save
if
this segment after that horrible Tiffy line.
But now if you go by what you're reading about this segment online, which again, take it with a grain of salt because it's
Of
what you read
course.
online, but
Yep.
apparently Charlotte went off script first.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And, Tiffany probably thinking about, well, hey, what happened last time? I got
Hmm.
eaten alive because Charlotte went off script and I didn't know what to do. She
Yeah.
probably had this loaded in the chamber.
Sure.
Now it was terrible. And then the fact that she said it and ran away immediately,
And that made her look horrible.
also
She's supposed to be
terrible.
the baby face. She's supposed to be the hero of this story, and it made her look like a bitch. It made her look horrible.
Now
You don't
let's,
say something like that and then run away.
well, that's it, right? Now let's just assume because it's my brain working here, and you know how I am. If it's on TV, I think for the most part it's a work, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's just assume that this is all a work, okay?
Hmm.
I don't think in this case it is, but let's just
If it is,
assume.
it's poorly written and it's
Yeah.
dumb.
So let's just assume that it's all a work. What is the point? How has this helped anybody? What
Nobody.
like and if it's a shoot, again, Charlotte, you're the veteran. You need to be coaching Tiffany. Now, is this an insecurity thing with Charlotte? Is this like Charlotte's just not a good person thing? Or is it just Charlotte having an off month here and just making bad choices? I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I'm a huge fan of Charlotte Flair. I think she is one of the greatest women. I think she will go down in history as the greatest women's wrestler of all time from an in-ring standpoint. But stuff like this doesn't do her any favors.
No. I already didn't care about this match, and I care even less now.
Yeah, I
This
agree.
this is this is the only match in the card so far where I have zero interest in seeing.
Now, from an in-ring standpoint, it should be a fine match,
Sure.
but I don't care about it.
I
It's
don't care
it's
about it at all.
it's at a point now too where it's got the quote unquote X-Pac go away heat for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I see their segment, it's a channel changer, or it's I'll go up to the washroom or make something to eat, and then I'll read about it later and see if I have to go back and watch it. I just don't
Sure.
I don't care enough about it, and I don't even care enough about it to keep talking about it on our show, to be honest.
And I agree with you. I only have two more subjects I want to talk about before we move on, and then we'll see if you have anything. Very quickly, I want to talk about something that I texted you about an hour or so ago, saying that I think this week on Raw, Braun Breaker has officially solidified himself as having the greatest spear in history.
Yeah, I mean, Carlito might not agree with you, but
That was
yeah,
wild, man. I've
he,
never seen anything like that. He was already getting up there for me. I was like, his spear, I think, is already better than Goldberg's. I think it's already better than Edge's. Like it's already getting there. And now I think he's putting everybody behind him. Everybody.
hard to argue.
It's
Hard to
I
argue.
see. I hope he stays healthy because I see massive, massive, massive things from Braun Breaker in the future. And when I say the future, I mean the near future. I'd say by next year's WrestleMania, we are going to see him in a very pivotal role.
I
If
I
he stays on this trajectory, I would not be the slightest bit surprised if he wins the Royal Rumble next year.
I do not disagree with that either. I think that there are huge matches in his future with Gunter. I think there are huge matches in his future with Jacob Fatu, with
Do you keep
Cody.
him as is, or do you do something like do you put Paul Heyman with him, or do you?
I
Does
if
he
I'm
need
gonna
any?
if I'm
Does
gonna
he need
put
anything else?
I don't think so right now, but if I'm gonna put anybody with him, we talked about it on our show with the man himself, Kurt Angle would be my choice.
Yeah, but let's stay in the realm of reality here because they're not going to pay Kurt what he wants. Let's be honest
Fair?
about that. Because Kurt made it very clear if they want me, they're going to pay, and I'm worth a lot right now.
Yeah,
And I respect the shit out of him for that.
he's earned it.
But they're in a spot I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they see Kurt the way we do right now. I don't think they need Kurt. They need to be paying Kurt that kind of money.
I don't think he
So
needs anybody though. Like I don't even think Kurt's
you
the
don't
right
think he
fit.
needs anybody?
I don't think Kurt's the right fit for him right now. I don't see him playing nice with
You
other
mean
people.
you mean Paul?
I don't think Paul's the right fit. I don't
Oh,
think
okay,
Kurt's the right fit. I don't think either one of them vibe with Braun Breaker right now.
okay,
I think Braun just needs to keep doing what he's doing. It's working,
yeah.
right? And
I
his
see big things
promos
for this boy.
his promos are good too. Like they're it's not like he needs a mouthpiece.
Hmm.
He needs an advisor. would be his thing. Like somebody that walks behind him to the ring
Well,
and doesn't talk to
well,
him, a business person.
I mean, that's kind of why I brought up Paul Heyman.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Heyman's
that's what Paul's been
Heyman
doing
Heyman's a big
with both
promo guy.
with yeah, but he's been doing that with Roman and Brock for the longest time. He's
Well,
not their manager.
that's because
Don't
Brock can't talk.
right, but what I like about what he doesn't take the foreground. He never
You know,
takes the foreground. He's not the Bobby Heenan. He is
he needs a Paul
the
Ellering.
advocate. He's the
He needs a
wise
Paul
man.
Ellering. That's what he needs. How Paul Ellering was for LOD, that's what Braun Breaker needs to find.
Very hot take, very unpopular opinion. I like Paul Ellering. I think he could have been good at what he does. I just never understood. I never in a million years thought that the Road Warriors ever needed a manager. So I never understood Paul's place there.
But
Never got it.
he wasn't their manager.
Never got it.
He was their business associate.
He makes almost as much sense as Rocco the Dummy.
Rocco.
One last thing I want to talk about. I want to get your opinion on what's going on right now with your boy Swerve Strickland.
My boy.
I want well, he's on your favorite weekly show on TNT, so he's got to be your boy.
Just because it's the best weekly show that's ever been on TNT.
I want to talk about this for two reasons. Number one, I want to get your opinion on the match you just had with Mox and the return of the Young Bucks. How do you feel about that? Yeah, okay. I'm with you on that one. First of all, can we please, especially AEW, but all promotions, can we put a pause? Just stop for a little while with the blackout shit for the returns. It's the most overplayed cliche in the world right now. Stop it. Just give it a break. That way, in a few years, when it's done once, it'll mean something again. But it's so fucking boring. Like it got so overplayed that TNA made a whole fucking pay-per-view concept based on it. They had like 3 blackout returns in one pay-per-view. Like it's done.
ECW was the master of that, but we can never tell it's because they didn't pay their hydro bill, their power bill, or not. Like, I don't know. Did they
when they played that shit? It was like, oh crap! Did the power go out? You actually believe that
everybody immediately looked at Heyman like, oh, I paid it. I swear. I'll call my dad. He's a lawyer.
But anyways, I wasn't a fan of that. But also, the Bucks coming back. I guess I just assumed they'd be coming back as faces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they didn't.
Here's my take on
this whole Bucks. Death Rider shit is so stale and boring.
It's hard to say that it's stale because I don't think it was ever hot enough to turn stale.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, and I'm not the only one, and this is not a shit on AEW thing, but nobody understands this angle.
Yeah.
It's not working. It's not getting over. Now, I know their TV numbers have been a little bit better lately, but it's not compelling television.
Sure.
I do think that they should have put the belt on Swerve Strickland at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I do think that the Young Bucks returning and helping Moxley made no sense.
No sense.
Especially because they left the company because of the Death Riders, because they were scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't hate the Young Bucks like everybody hates the Young Bucks, but I don't think they work as heels. They're not a heel team. They're too smarky to be heels. They try to be too inside. They're in ring style. There's nothing heelish at all about it.
Especially
but as baby faces, like I think they need to go back to what brought them to the well and being super kicks and smart asses works as baby faces for them.
Especially if your plan was to turn FTR. No, yeah. I think FTR is going to lose steam. Like FTR has no chance of being that number one heel tag team. If on the same pay-per-view you bring back the Young Bucks as a heel, it doesn't make any sense. You've taken the win out of FTR sales before you even gave it to them. Doesn't make any sense.
Here's my question to you, because you and I talked about this as well earlier in the week. we all think that this is going to lead to FTR versus Edge and Christian. Is that
God, I
fair?
hope so.
How do
I'm
we
not gonna say I
get?
think because I'm not giving Tony enough credit to do the things I want him to do, but I think it makes sense. I think
I,
this is if it's not going to go there, then what was the point, kind of thing.
I don't think we've seen Christian, and I could be wrong because I don't watch AEW a lot, but I don't think we've seen Christian since he failed cash in his title shot thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that for sure. So how do we get Christian and Edge on the same page to challenge FTR with the way that Christian's character has been booked over the last few years? I don't know how we get there. I mean, they had the number seven moment in the
I
history of
mean,
all of AEW Dynamite. Go fuck yourself.
it's it could be this is a big cop out, but it could be as easy as a cop out. It could very much just be him saving the day after he's getting his ass kicked and being like, "We'll talk about our shit later," but as far as I'm concerned, nobody beats the shit out of you but me.
Yeah.
It could be as easy as that.
Yeah, I don't know how
But
we get there. Either way, I
I
don't
don't know.
care. I don't care because I really want to see FTR versus Edge and Christian. I
Well,
really
that's
want
it.
to see Edge and Christian versus the Young Bucks.
It's too bad this didn't happen when the Hardys were still with AEW because
Yeah.
kind of missed opportunity here. But um, and then I want to move that over to talk more about Swerve. I want to very briefly talk about his little feud, let's call it, little rivalry with the one and only Booker T.
Sucker!
Um, so I'm going to try to explain this how I understand it, and you can correct me if you've ever heard anything that counteracts anything I've heard. There, so he went on this Vlad TV, is that what it's called?
I don't know.
It's a podcast I think called Vlad TV, and basically just called out everybody for being racists. He wasn't used properly in WWE because because
Swerve,
the
correct?
racists and both. Yeah, Swerve.
Swerve?
Yeah, yeah. And Booker T took exception to this. And then there was some kind of back and forth between Booker T and Swerve. And then one of the last things you see on the Dynasty pay per view is Swerve saying, "Fuck Booker T."
Yeah.
Now Booker T has come out and he said something great, and I agree with this so much. So Booker basically said, you only did me a favor because I'm the one getting over, not you, not your company. He goes, and the other person you did the favor for was Vlad TV. Vlad TV is the one that's going to be laughing in the end, not you. So what you did was stupid for you. I don't care that you called me out on TV, but you need to make better decisions in your future. I'm not going to lie with you, man. I'm not the biggest Booker T fan in the world, but I think he's got a point here. What do you think?
I think that this is a classic AEW thing
Mm-hmm.
where there is an issue on the internet or backstage that the talent decided to bring on air. Why? Now I know it's after the pay-per-view ended. It's not on air before you get all huffy puffy, everybody. But
Was it not on air? I thought it was.
no, it's after the pay-per-view ended. But you're in front of your crowd. Why would you do this? You just lost your title match. You
Yeah,
just got screwed by the Young Bucks, and you want to come up and say fuck Booker T, who's
yeah,
not in your company. There's no payoff to this unless Booker T and Swerve Strickland are going to have a match at All In, which
you're right.
nobody is asking for. It's the same thing when Jack Perry did it with CM Punk a few years
Mm-hmm.
ago. It's real
Yep.
glass, cry me a river. Most people don't know
How,
what the fuck you're talking about.
how'd that work out for you, Jack?
Yeah, where's Jack Perry right now? When's the
It,
last
oh,
time you've seen
but,
him on TV?
but also after that moment, was Jack not on off television for what was it, 6, 9 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And CM
Eh,
Punk is now one of the biggest stars in the world about to
thank
headline
you.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Why can't we learn from our mistakes? Why
Mm-hmm.
can't
Agreed.
AEW learn from the mistakes of WCW? Why can't AEW learn from the mistakes of TNA wrestling? Why can't they
Mm-hmm.
learn from the WWE's prior mistakes? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. And I saw like I've seen a bunch of people go off on Tony Khan and like yell at him and swear and I saw this one guy really go crazy. I don't know who it was, but um like Tony just I think he just needs to bounce ideas off people. Like
Yes.
I there should be a booking committee in AEW.
Well,
You have
you have
so many talented minds.
you I don't know who all still works there behind there, but at one point in time, you had some of the greatest minds in wrestling working behind the scenes. You had Jake Roberts working there. You had uh Arn Anderson working there. You had who else? Sting, obviously.
Tully
You know what I mean? You had
Blanchard.
some Tully Blanchard. You had some of the greatest names. DDP was associated. I don't know if he ever
No,
worked
he
there,
never worked.
but
He did.
but you had all these people that have lived the business for 40 to 50 years. What are you doing with them? You're not utilizing them at all. And then at the very least, do you not have these people that work for you, like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Are they not part of this company? Are they not supposed to be? What the fuck do EVPs do now, anyways, if they're not helping keep control of the company?
Well, I mean,
Are they not invested enough to make sure that Tony doesn't fucking take it off the rails?
I don't think that they're the right people for that job. They're still young and talent. Like you can't.
Yeah,
That's a hard spot for people their age to do. Now, that being said, I do want to say something good about the pay-per-view. I highly recommend everybody go out of their way to watch the triple threat match with
I'm looking. I'm looking forward to that.
Kenny Omega, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Ricochet. They really showcase Speedball phenomenally, first of all.
Really hard to sell me on Ricochet these days, but I am looking forward to that match.
Ricochet as a heel has been much better than Ricochet as a face. He's still not
Yeah,
my
but
cup
I
of
don't like
tea.
his wrestling style. Is what I
Yeah,
mean.
so but
Yeah.
it wasn't a Ricochet Will Ospreay match. It
Okay.
was, Kenny Omega's like whatever. Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers ever. I will die on that sword. I think he's phenomenal,
Sure.
and he made sure that it wasn't a Will Ospreay flippy floppy style
Yeah.
match with
And
Ricochet,
that's why
right?
I like Ricochet in NXT because they allowed him to do some of that stuff, but I didn't say they watered it down. They limited it.
Yeah, and that's what
They
this
they
match was. This
and
was
that's the
the
kind of stuff I want to see. Ricochet's good when you kind of put a governor on him,
well, and they really let Mike Bailey. I think they were really trying to get him over in this match,
which they should.
and it worked. The crowd was really into him. I don't know if you saw
Mhm.
the Karate Kid spot yet, where
I
he
did. I
phenomenal.
did. It was
Uh,
amazing.
the finish was incredible. I won't spoil it for you if you're planning to
Okay.
watch it.
No, I am
Um,
planning.
they kept slapping Ricochet on the top of his head, which I thought was so funny. But after the match shows where I don't know if this pay-per-view is running long on time, but Kenny, Kenny won. That's no spoiler. Everybody knows by now.
I
And
didn't.
well, whatever. Sorry, but I don't think that it's going to change your complexion of the match either
Okay.
way.
All right.
But they had Okada come out after the match for
Oh,
the stare down. It
sure.
literally was like Okada got in the ring, Kenny looked at him and left. Like it was awful.
Hmm.
Like there was, and then Okada just left. Like the whole thing was like
What was
eight
the point?
seconds. I
Yeah,
don't like. I know we're building to that match for the two titles that I don't know which either one of them holds to be unified. I
sure.
think the Continental title Okada has,
Okay.
and Kenny's got, I don't know, the International or the Mid-Atlantic. I don't know what it is, but either way, I think we're going to unify those two titles with Kenny and Okada. I don't care if they
Sure.
fight for a fucking bag of popcorn. Just give me Kenny and Okada. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my one downfall about that is I really think that they're losing steam with this Kenny Okada thing, and I think they need to start really revving into that heading into their big show in Texas.
No, I agree with that. All right. You got anything else, my friend?
I do, but it coincides with your list.
Okay.
So, set the people up for your list and your criteria for it, and then I'm going to jump in before you get to your number seven.
His name is Big Match John for a reason. Every match on my card has to have that feel. It's got to have that big match feel. Not only the build up to it, but most importantly, from bell to bell, it's got to feel like WrestleMania. It's got to. So that's criteria number one. This is a cop out, but it's just got to be a good match. We know what
Yeah.
a good match is. Is that subjective? Sure, it is. There's gonna be there might be a couple matches on this list that you or one of our listeners would be like, that's not my cup of tea. That's fine. It's my list. It's my cup of tea.
It probably
Um,
wasn't your cup of tea either, judging by the way that you've talked about this list so far.
right.
It's
And then there might be a couple matches where you're like, oh, how did that not get on your list? This was a really hard list for me to do because, as I alluded to, John just ain't Mr. WrestleMania. I'm not gonna lie to you, Tyler. In December, let's say I decide in December to do one final John Cena listen. Let's say I was to count down the top 7 John Cena matches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure a single match I talk about today would make that list.
I think
Maybe
two of
maybe my
them.
number one,
I
maybe,
think
but
I think two of them could have a case for it.
but
We'll get to them when we get to them, but
yeah.
I think one match on this list, which I would have as my number two, so we'll see where you have it on, is grossly
Mhm.
underrated. And I think one match on your list, what I would have as my number one, is a phenomenal match. Um,
I don't
but
think any of my top 3 are underrated, so I think our lists look a little different. But yeah,
that
that's my main my criteria, man. Is just it's got to be entertaining is number one because let's say John Cena is not Luthez, okay? John Cena is the quintessential sports entertainer,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to see. This is not, we're not looking for Kenny Omega in this list. I want to see sports entertainment at its finest, and I think for a lot of these matches, you do get that. You really do.
So before you get into your number seven, because I've
Okay.
been doing my research, because next week I'm going to do the top seven Cody Rhodes WrestleMania matches of all time.
Hmm.
Now, there are so many parallels to John Cena and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and I thought I'd bring some fun little points across.
Ooh, I like that. All right.
So number one, this year's WrestleMania will be John Cena's sixth WrestleMania main event that he will be competing in. As far as I know, two against The Rock, one against The Miz, one against Triple H, one against Shawn Michaels. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware, those are his only main events. This will be
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes' fourth WrestleMania main event in the last 3 years, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Both of these men have had a triple threat match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah.
Both of these men have fought the Big Show at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Both of these men have worked with The Rock at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Both of these men have won two Royal Rumble matches to earn title shots at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these men have won the world title at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these men have main evented back to back WrestleManias against the same person.
Okay.
And both of those men lost the first match against the same person
Very
before they
true.
won the second one. So just a
Now,
couple fun little
one thing I'm not sure
tie-ins.
if you mentioned or not, but correct me if I'm wrong. Both men won 2 Royal Rumbles.
Yes, to
Did
earn their
you?
title shots at WrestleMania.
Okay. Okay. I like
Uh,
it.
yeah,
That's
so
very interesting. I like that a
couple
lot. That's
couple
very
fun little
interesting.
tie-ins as we head into the main
Yeah.
event of this
And
year's
you know what?
WrestleMania.
I took a small break from my right before I watched the John Cena Batista match at WrestleMania 26.
Mm.
I was fast forwarding to get to that spot, and I had to stop. And I'm like, Tyler's doing a Cody list next week. Let me take a break here. And I stopped and I watched that triple threat match with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase.
Fun match.
We'll talk about this next week, but I think I forgot how much I like that match.
Yeah,
This is a really good
it was a
match.
fun little match. Cody Rhodes
Yeah,
paying homage to Shawn Michaels with his naked brown man tights and his generic theme music was the one thing that I will say before we go onto your list is because I've been watching them in order, my Cody matches, so I'm about to do WrestleMania 39 as we speak is where I'm sitting at. But
sure.
watching the evolution of Cody between 26, 27, and 28 or 9, 28, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like he comes out to generic music the one year,
Uh,
and
how
then
many
he's
matches
like,
does he have in total?
Cody Rhodes has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 matches total.
Well, he's 6 under Big Match John.
Yeah, 10 matches total, two as Stardust, one Battle Royal. So, I mean,
Okay.
Cody's technically only got 7 matches,
Well,
but yeah, we'll talk all about that next week. So,
I look forward to that. I really look forward to that.
yeah, fun stuff.
All right. It wouldn't be a Mike Walsh list if I didn't start off with automatic heat with my number 7.
Good old number
Um,
7.
yeah, I think my good old number seven is going to be extremely controversial, and I'm going to stand by it, and I'll give my reasons why. But my number seven is going to be WrestleMania 30 with the fire, easy for me to say, Firefly Fun House match.
So that was WrestleMania 36, not 30.
36, or not 30. My bad. Well, I mean, same guy, different WrestleMania.
Well, speak
No, WrestleMania
speaking
36. Thank you.
speaking of John Cena, just to go off the point that we just said about him being in his sixth WrestleMania main event, this year's WrestleMania, he will now surpass Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar, who all have five main events. And he
Interesting.
now ties with The Rock and Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan. And oh no, wait,
Well,
He ties The Rock with six,
oh,
and
okay.
he's behind Roman and Hogan and Triple H.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
Sorry, that was my
Uh,
points.
Very good.
Firefly Funhouse. This one's so hard to judge
Yes,
because
and a lot of people might keep it off just on the argument that it's not a real match. But here's my argument. What did I just say before I came in here? I said I want to see sports entertainment at its purest form. This was nothing if not sports entertainment. This
Mhm.
is exactly what we needed in March of 2020. Um, they didn't know what to do. There was nothing else they could have done at WrestleMania 36 because they needed to find something to keep people interested. There's only two characters that could go out of their way and do something strange and unique and crazy, and both men did it. That's The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. We
Yeah.
got that great Boneyard match from The Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt had the opportunity to do something out there, and John Cena took that and said, "Yeah, let's just go for it. Let's balls to the wall. Let's take every risk we possibly can. Let's tell the story of my career, and let's do it in the most unique way possible." And I absolutely love this match.
Well, I think a lot of this creativity would fall on Bray Wyatt over John
Apparently, a
Cena.
lot of that, no, but apparently, if you believe John, which I do, John has said in interviews that he wrote a lot of this match.
I can't believe anybody that would sell his soul to The Rock. So,
I
um, I actually would probably have this match a lot lower on my list. I do enjoy this match.
I think the only reason it's my number seven is because I almost felt like I was cheating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe not though, because he does have a couple like sleeper bangers too. I would probably have this in my four or five spot, I think. Five for sure.
Okay, it's funny you say that. It was my original number five,
That's fair.
and then I moved it just because I felt like, does it count? Does it not count? At least if I put it in my number seven, no one can say that I'm really cheating.
Yeah, I mean this match needs to be on the list. It was such a
Yeah,
creative and fun match. But I get what you're saying also, like if you want to just kind of look at his actual matches, because
yeah,
he was scheduled to face the Fiend at this WrestleMania before the pandemic shut everything down. So this was the
exactly.
pivot and it
Yeah,
worked. It really worked.
100% it did. Loved it. This is Bray Wyatt's very last WrestleMania victory before passing away.
Yeah, because he lost to Randy the next year, right?
Yeah,
So this was his second last WrestleMania match, I believe, as well.
yeah,
Because he was released. Everyone forgets that he got
yeah.
released,
Because
right?
he got released. Yeah. And who was he? He was scheduled to face, was it Lashley at WrestleMania before he passed away?
I think so.
I want to say it was Lashley.
I think that was kind of the direction they were going.
Moving on to my number six, we're going exactly 10 years prior. We're going to WrestleMania 26 against a guy that he came up with in the business right from 2002. It was him and Dave Batista.
I remember this being a phenomenal match.
I was really hoping it was going to stand up and stay as good as I remembered it. I rewatched it yesterday. I'm not sure if it completely stays up, but it's still good enough to be on my list.
I think this match, these guys had really good chemistry together. They had a
They
really
really
good
did.
match at SummerSlam as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And these are both guys that have been known to have great matches, but always kind of needed like the stronger opponent to make them those great matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like Batista with Taker or Triple H or Cena with Triple H and Michael. And for them to both get in there and deliver a match, I think was a big like statement match for these guys.
Right. Um, the match itself too was really good. I because it brought back spots like when Batista injured John Cena earlier, in
SummerSlam.
their careers. They brought back that spot, and the commentary really hit on that. The everything that right the up the build to this match was great too because I love a good heel Batista. He's a good babyface too, but I love heel Batista when he's coming out doing this stuff like you're not better than me, John. It's like I'm going to show you because when you and I get in the ring together, bad things happen to you. I broke your neck.
Hmm.
Like this is your fault. Like bad things happen to you when we do this every single time. So for them to go and they play into that in this storyline, it was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one.
Speaking about enjoying matches, this is the one that I almost considered not even rewatching because I remember not liking this match.
Can
I'm
I
so surprised to not only see it on my list, but to see it as my number five.
can I guess
Be-
it?
I Give me a second, and then yes, this match for years I talk shit about. But here's the thing: because I disliked it so much, I've spent that many years since it happened, not never going back and rewatching it. And once after I get your guess, and once we talk about the match, I'll explain why I think now I didn't like it back then and why I like it now. But what's your guess?
I'm gonna guess the triple threat with Edge and the Big Show.
WrestleMania 25.
Nailed it.
For years, I said this match was garbage. And I'm never a big fan of triple threat matches at WrestleMania to begin with, especially for the title. I don't know why. I never like it. Outside of WrestleMania 20, obviously. So
And 30.
but
30s was good.
but here's the thing. I think I look back to that pay-per-view where I was, what I was doing. I was having the time of my life. I was with a bunch of very good friends. We were having a party. We're having a WrestleMania party. 20 of us in a guy's basement in Kingston, watching this show, having a great time. What match preceded this, Tyler?
I don't know, Taker and Sean.
Directly before this, with no buffer, is Taker and Sean.
Yeah.
One of the greatest WrestleMania matches in history.
I'd say the greatest, one of the
When you
greatest wrestling matches in history
when
for
when
sure.
you when you finish that match, and then you're just emotionally, physically, you're done. I WrestleMania could have been over that minute, and I'd be happy. I'd be fine. And then, other than the tremendous entrance for John Cena, everything else was just like I didn't care anymore. And I think I just let that negative attitude go into the next two matches. Um, so the rest of WrestleMania was almost spoiled for me because of how amazing that one match is. 15 years later, going back and isolating that triple threat match and disregarding the fact that we just saw Triple H or Sean and Taker, the match is actually really good.
It's a
Another
fun
thing I had
match.
against it at the time, I'm not a Big Show fan. Everybody knows that. So that probably hurt it at the time as well.
Also,
But
the
Big
build for this
Show
match was
was
awful.
garbage. But Big Show held his own in this match. Big Show really did well in this match as a character. He actually did feel like he deserved to be there and that he had a place there, which I liked. The the test of strength for John Cena carrying both those men on his
Mhm.
shoulder, the finish with the F5 or the FU, everything was great. I'm so happy. If anything good came out of this list, it's the fact that I got to go back and have a new appreciation for this match.
Yeah, this is a really fun match. I actually was in the same boat as you. I always remember this match poorly. I don't like this WrestleMania in general, other than the Taker and Shawn match. But this match, it's definitely a fun match. It's short, which is good. I
Mm-hmm.
think it doesn't overstay its welcome. All the spots are really well done in it, and yeah, it's a fun match, and I think it's in the perfect place.
Agreed. My number 4 is a match that only happens twice in a lifetime. We're going to WrestleMania 29 for John Cena versus The Rock.
This is the match that I was alluding to as saying is one of his better matches and is a grossly underrated Cena WrestleMania match. And when I say underrated, I don't mean by the build, obviously, but from an
Yeah.
actual in-ring standpoint. I went back, I don't know why, but I went back and rewatched this match randomly I guess I was prepping for the show, and it was so good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is
So is
what
this the one you said would have been your number 1 or 2?
this would be in my top three for sure.
Okay, really interesting.
Yeah, this would be possibly number two. I'd have to go back and rewatch one other match because I don't remember it at all.
Sure.
But yeah, this match is what WrestleMania is all about. This is
I,
two of the biggest stars ever in wrestling,
mhm.
main eventing the biggest show possible in wrestling. This is
What
Hogan
I
and Warrior. This is Hogan
Yeah.
and Warrior. This is, Hogan and Macho. This is whoever, right? Cody and Roman, whatever you want to put it as.
What I liked about it is I think it's hard. Other people have done it, but I think it's hard to do the same match 2 years in a row. And the fact that they were able to tell a very different story this time really helped out. It,
Mhm.
having the title involved didn't hurt. That was because it wasn't involved the first time, so that was something that made it different. The promos the men shot at each other this time made it feel very different than the first time. The first time felt like it was about respect. This
The first time felt more like Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. They were both trying to one up each other in a shoot man, or Cena, talking about writing lines down on his wrists
was
and
that the
stuff.
first one. I don't know why I thought that was the second one.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the first one, I think.
but especially if you watch the callback package for the first match, the callback package is very much about respect. It's about these guys having respect for each other. The second one, it was like, no, this is about this now. This is about the title. This is about me being better than you.
Hmm. The way that I like it too, because obviously they promoted the first match as once in a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always a way to get to a second match, and they didn't just be like, "Fuck it, we're gonna just make them fight again." It was
Yeah,
Rock won the world title, Cena won the Royal Rumble.
yeah,
There was a logistical reason why this match happened again. And I was very underwhelmed by their first match, and I think part of that has to do with The Rock being injured,
it's very
very
interesting.
very early in it. I thought this match was leaps and bounds better. I really enjoyed this
Okay.
match.
Well, obviously, we're on different sides of the coin because my number 3 is WrestleMania 28 versus The
Well,
Rock.
fair enough.
So it's very funny that we see these matches quite differently. I don't think the second one lived up to the first. The only thing I didn't like about the first was the finish. And now that they have the second match and things got balanced, I don't care anymore. But at the time, I was very upset that John didn't win.
Mhm.
But other than that, I think it is like me from my tastes of wrestling, I do think it's the superior match. Uh, I think it was a bit more exciting for me.
I just remember being bitter that Jericho and Punk didn't main event because I was a big Punk mark at this time, and I was like, "He's the world champ. What the hell? He should be main eventing." Obviously, that match should not be main eventing, but I
and I,
remember
and I think
bitter 20-something-year-old Tyler very upset about that.
I think the other reason I really wanted John to win was because I was really upset. I felt not that it was a great match or was it ever going to be a great match, but I felt The Rock kind of got in the way and wrecked any momentum John versus The Miz could have had
Yeah,
the year prior. I blamed The Rock for that. So The
yeah. I
Rock
mean,
now coming in, and
the
to
Miz
me,
was
it
an
was like, okay,
afterthought.
they're gonna fix this now. They're gonna fix what their fuck up from last year by having John get his up and on The Rock. But then The Rock wins again, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. No, in the end, it all works out. They have their second match. John wins the title. Everybody's happy. Blah blah blah. Well, maybe not the Miz, but
He got
yeah,
his main event. He just doesn't remember it.
yeah, but I don't know if we would be talking about the Miz today at all if The Rock was not involved. But we're not talking about the Miz today because The Rock was involved. That's all I know.
Yeah. Um, I'd have to rewatch this match to really like have more to say on it. I haven't
Sure.
rewatched it in many, many, many years, possibly even since it aired.
Mhm.
I do really enjoy their second one. I remember not enjoying the first one very much, but again, I'd have to rewatch it. But I know you only have two spots left, right? That was your number three.
Yes, that was my number three.
So
I,
I think there's a match that I would have on my list that you're not going to have on your list, but
I
we'll
have a
go from
feeling
there.
I know what it, and I have a feeling I know what it is. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but my number two and number one, I don't think are going to be hard for anybody to figure out,
No.
especially knowing the wrestlers I like and the wrestling matches I like. My number two, I think it's quite obvious. We're going to John Cena's, correct me if I'm wrong, his very first WrestleMania main event at WrestleMania 22 against Triple H.
Yeah, I figured this was going to be here for you. This is a match that I have to go back and rewatch because I have no
I
memory of it.
highly I highly suggest you do. It's a phenomenal match.
I have
And
no memory
it's
of this
once
match.
again a testament to Triple H making somebody look amazing at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know, this whole other than WrestleMania 19, I'll take the L on that, okay? All day long I'll take the L on what happened against Booker T. But other than that match, every time somebody wants to talk about him burying people and the golden shovel and all that shit, look what he did for Benoit. Look what he did for Cena. Look, you know what I mean? And not just by making them look like really good wrestlers, not for making them look like amazing baby faces. He tapped out for them.
Mhm.
He
I
tapped out
mean,
for them. That
that
at one time that meant something.
that can go all the way back to his first WrestleMania match with the Warrior, where
Sure.
Warrior just popped up in the pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't have a lot to add to this one. I remember it being a good match. I don't remember enough about it. I don't think I've rewatched this match since it happened.
Other than a small handful of okay, that kind of sucked. Triple H does go in my list of some of the greatest all-time WrestleMania performers.
Yeah, I'm trying to like yeah, I mean it's hard to argue. He's had some pretty amazing matches at
It
WrestleMania.
really has. And I don't think it's going to come to a surprise to anybody at all that the very following year after that, John Cena went against the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and had his greatest WrestleMania match
I
ever.
agree. Yeah, this
Be-
is a shoe-in.
because anybody who has a match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania usually has their greatest WrestleMania matches.
Yeah,
Let's do the count, man. Seriously. John's greatest WrestleMania match is against HBK. Kurt Angle's greatest WrestleMania match, arguably in his own words, is against HBK. The Undertaker's greatest WrestleMania match is against HBK. Arguably, Triple H's one of his greatest WrestleMania matches, WrestleMania 20, is
involves
HBK.
HBK.
The man, like people want to call him Mr. WrestleMania for a lot of different reasons. One of
Flares,
those reasons is because he elevates everybody he works with.
Jericho's,
Jericho, yeah,
Flares, right?
yes,
The Ming and the Barbarian, WrestleMania 7, Tito Santana. It goes back to Tonka.
it does, it
Scott
does.
Hall, right?
The man, the man
Kevin Nash.
is WrestleMania gold. He's everything he touches turns to perfection, man. And this match was no different. He made John look like the babyface we need to have. We were this close. Sean was playing that heel role during this match,
Yeah, I like the build of this match a lot, where they were
which
teaming a
we didn't
lot.
get a lot. Yeah, we
And
didn't
then
get a lot of heel Shawn Michaels in this run.
were these guys
From
not the tag team champions going into this match as well, I
no,
believe? I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
they
think
were.
so.
I'm pretty sure they were.
Well, if they were, they definitely didn't bring the belts
No,
into the
they
match.
did not bring the belts, but I'm pretty sure they were the tag champions heading into this match, or because I think they lost them like the night after.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember, or
I don't
they
remember
lost
that.
them the week before.
Well,
Like
it was definitely an
they were
afterthought
tag
because
team champions.
it was definitely an afterthought because the commentator didn't talk about it at all.
I
Um,
know they were tag team champions at some point.
the only thing that threw me off, because I totally, this is 2007, I totally forgot that they were doing that new DX run,
Yeah.
because Triple H was out on injury. So I thought that was done and over with by then. Um, so when Sean comes to the ring wearing his red with crosses all over it, he looks like HBK. He doesn't look like DX Shawn Michaels, but he's coming out to the DX theme song. It just,
I
it
think
kind of,
he
it
I think he
didn't
did
look
that, and
right.
I think he honored Triple H because Triple H got hurt, right?
And that should have been the Triple H was supposed to be in that spot. He was supposed to have that match with John, and for the second time in his career, he tore his quads again. So yeah, you very well could be right. That could have just been for Triple H.
Yeah, they
Um,
were.
but this was a phenomenal match. Once again, the STFU did its job. Uh, Man, sometimes I forget how many people he put down with that submission hold of his.
Yeah, that's fair. He's put down a lot, and yes, they were tag team champions heading into
No,
WrestleMania, I
no kidding.
believe. They won the belts
Now,
on February 26th at least. So, I mean, unless they lost it shortly after.
can I guess which match you that I left off as far as you're concerned?
Yeah,
Was it Rusev?
it was the Rusev match. I think that's worth looking into. I don't
Oh,
know.
I did rewatch it. I rewatched them all. I did rewatch it. It's just
I don't know for sure if it would have made
it
my
was just
list.
okay though. Yeah.
I'd have to go back and rewatch that other Rock Cena match before I could make a final judgment on it.
Hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, you're wrong, Mike." Like, I maybe would have
Yeah,
put
yeah.
the Firefly Funhouse a little bit higher on the list
A
just
little
because
bit
it's such
differently.
a
Yeah.
fun match.
It
But
is a very fun
I also
match.
get why it's on your number seven spot. I understand
Yeah.
the logic behind it
And no
because
matter how you feel about it, it was better than their match at 30.
yeah, that match sucked. But I mean, like, I'm going through a similar situation on my Cody Rhodes list right now. Like, I'm watching these two ladder matches from WrestleMania. And it's like, well, number one, he's Stardust. He's not Cody. But number two, these matches are phenomenal, especially the second ladder match at WrestleMania 32.
Yeah.
But are they phenomenal because of what Cody contributed to the match, or are they phenomenal
Well,
because they're
that's a
phenomenal
hard
matches,
when
right?
it comes to multi-man matches in general, that's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my dilemma. So I don't know if we're going to see those ladder matches on the list. I got to figure out what my criteria is going to be.
Um, I'd like to know your opinion when it comes to the rest of his matches that we didn't talk about today. What was your feeling? What was your thoughts a few years ago when well, not a few years ago, I guess quite a few years ago now, when he fought The Undertaker?
Um, I really liked the build for it. I thought that it was kind of fun, like having Cena in the crowd. Like I thought that was
Yes.
like different and fun.
The
Um,
fact that it was basically a squash match. Did you,
I
what do you think of
mean,
that?
I didn't really care for it,
Yeah. Hey,
but
you know who really didn't care for it?
Undertaker,
The Undertaker. He's like,
yeah, he trained.
I trained for a year for this. And this is what you're giving me?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Vince and Cena both wanted him to squash him.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think keeping that match short though was the right call, especially where Taker was in his career at that point.
Hmm.
Taker wasn't the guy that should be going 30 minutes at that point, and Cena was really winding down his career at this point as
Sure he
well,
was.
right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect us to be talking about Austin Theory today.
No.
I didn't expect us to be talking about the Big Show, even though that match is better than most people remember.
I think it's better than even I remember it being, but it's
But
not top seven.
it's not going to make
Yeah.
this list. I knew we weren't going to talk about
Do you want to
JBL.
do you want that actually surprised me for some odd reason. I have such a great memory of their rivalry of their story, but I think that comes a couple years later.
Yeah, they're
I Yeah, you know what I mean? That was before they got into what like the story that I like. That was very green John Cena.
Mhm. First
It
title win.
was, yeah, he wasn't there yet. Honorable mention has to be WrestleMania 19, John versus the Cutouts.
That was on the pre-show. It doesn't count. Um, how funny is it though? John Cena he won his first world title ever at WrestleMania 21.
Mhm.
And 20 years later, at WrestleMania 41, he's main eventing again, going to break the record. Going to
That's
attempt to break the
insane.
record. 20
To
years
attempt to break the
20
record
years later since his first world title run.
for his very last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Tip of
insane, man.
tip of the cap to you, Mr. Cena. You're a hell of a
Hey, listen,
performer.
all the things I said about him, some of his shitty matches and him not being Mr. WrestleMania.
Doesn't mean he ain't
I
Mr.
mean,
WWE.
no disrespect because everybody has that one thing that, they're just not great at.
You know what though? I'll
Even the
disagree.
greatest of all time, Shawn Michaels is not, he's got his downsides too. They all do.
I'll disagree a
Uh,
little bit with you though. I think looking at the seven matches you put on his list, there's seven really good matches. And they're
I think there's three great matches, four good matches, and then the rest kind of thing. I mean,
that's better than most people do at WrestleMania though.
yeah, you're not wrong. But
Especially being
I
in his
think
position.
when that's the thing, I think because of who he is, you expect the list to be better.
Yeah, but look at some of the names that he fought at WrestleManias. Like he wasn't gifted a lot of phenomenal WrestleMania opponents either.
No, so this is basically the first 10 years of Undertaker's career.
Pretty much. But Cena, like Cena and Batista is not a match that you would ever think that we should be talking about, but it was, right?
But Cena Batista, they had a great, like, outside of WrestleMania, they had other great matches,
Yeah, but you wouldn't
right?
think though, like when you think about great wrestling matches, like if I were to present to you a list of 20 potential phenomenal wrestling matches, and
Yeah.
John Cena and Batista was one of those ones on the list, it's not one that you're going to be like, whoa, John Cena and Batista, this is going to be a banger.
I'm so surprised over the years, considering how many matches they had together. We never got John Cena and Randy Orton at a WrestleMania.
Well, we got a triple threat.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason that's not on my list, by the way.
Didn't the power go out during that match also? Or the power came back on during that match? The
I
lights went
think
out.
I think I turned the power off my house so I didn't have to watch it anymore.
Oh, those damn power
We
storms you get.
we call that the old JP.
Oh, JP.
That's an inside joke.
I can't wait to be a part of an inside joke one day.
Hey man, Victoria's been pulling one on you for years. All right, my friend, that is my John Cena list for better or for worst. I cannot wait to hear your Cody list next week because that wraps up our WrestleMania segment. Right after that, next week will be our go home show. That
Mhm.
brings us into WrestleMania 41. We'll have already talked about both the competitors for the main event of night two. Um, that's awesome to me. Uh, I want to hear everybody talk about their opinions on these lists. I want to hear what you want to hear. I know it's a whole year away, but what do you want to hear us talk about next year for WrestleMania? What do you want to hear for our post WrestleMania show? So let us know all that stuff, and let us know about what you think of the WrestleMania build up so far. Um, Both Tyler and I are on the thumbs up side for the most part of WrestleMania. We're enjoying it. The rest of the wrestling world doesn't agree with us. Where do you guys stand? Let us know. Hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, Discord. Let us know.
I don't know what Discord is still.
Okay, you say that every week. Either learn or shut up.
I will not learn, and I will not
And
shut
you won't
up.
shut up. Until next time, my friends. Tyler, what do you have, bud? You all
Cheers.
good? You good?
Cheers.
Well, guess what? You've been counted out.
Cheers.